Hello everyone, in this video we're going to build a simple image upload API using Node.js, Express and Multer. You will learn how to set up a server, handle single and multiple image uploads and make your images publicly accessible. We will also test the API using Postman and create a simple HTML frontend so you can upload images directly from your browser. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand how image uploads work on the backend and how to add this feature to your own Node.js projects. So let's get started. Okay, so let's open our terminal and let's initialize our Node.js application by saying npm init-y. -y means that we want to accept all the default settings. So let's press enter. Great, as you can see, now we have package.json file. And now let's install the following packages. We need to install Express first of all, so let's say Express. So it's a web framework for handling routes and requests. And let's also install Multer. So Multer is a Node.js middleware that helps handle file uploads. So Multer handles file uploads. Okay, it will be responsible for that. So let's install it. Okay, as you can see, now we have package-log.json file and node models folder. And also in this video, I want to use ES models syntax. For that, I need to remove this common.js with model, and now we will be able to use this modern syntax. So in the root, let's create a file called server.js. So it will be our server, okay? And now let's import some core dependencies. First of all, let's import Express from Express. As I have said, it is a web framework for handling routes and requests. And let's also import Multer from Multer to handle file uploads. Okay, and also we need to import path from path. So we need it because it will help work with file and directory paths, okay? And also we can import a function, file URL to path from URL module, and we need it to convert module URL to file path, which is used in ES models. And finally, we need to import file system from file system. So let's say import file system from file system, and we need it to be able to create folders, check files, and so on. Okay, now let's initialize our Express application by saying const app will be equal to Express. Okay, so we have created our new Express application, and now we need to get current directory. Okay, and since dir name doesn't exist in ES models, we need to do it manually. So first of all, let's say that we need to create a variable called file name, and it isn't a variable that we can create like ourselves. It's a system variable which is defined, and we just need to use it. Okay, so here we need to say const file name will be equal to file URL to path to be able to convert it to a file path, and then by doing const file name will be equal to this, we get the current file path, we get the file path of this server.js. Then we need to get directory name, okay? And in this case, here we provide file name. So first of all, we got file name, and then we need to get directory name. And in this case, you can already say that directory name will point to image uploader because server.js is inside image uploader folder, okay? So we need it to get the current directory name. And why do we even need to get file name and directory name? We need it so that we can define where we want to store and serve our images. We will create a special folder to be able to store our images there, and we will be able to serve that folder so that uploaded files can be accessed publicly. Okay, and I can immediately say that we will use a folder called uploads. So let's say app.use at uploads. So when someone goes to this route, and our URL will look like this, http localhost 5000 at uploads. So when someone goes to this route, we want to serve the uploads folder so uploaded files can be accessed publicly. So when someone goes to this route, here we have express.static. So this is a built-in middleware function in Express. It serves static files and is based on serve static. And our images are, of course, images in general are static. So here we have express static path.join function. So here we have our dir name, which is image uploader. Then we say that we need to join our image uploader with this uploads. Okay, so as I said here, we will have uploads folder. So it means that we just join our dir name with our uploads folder, and it means that we will be able to serve the uploads folder, so uploaded files can be accessed publicly. So that's the main reason why we do it, to be able to get access to these images inside uploads folder. That's why, because it will be accessed publicly. Okay, so now we need to ensure that uploads folder exists before saving files there. For that, we can say if in file system, we can use a method called exists synchronous, and here let's say ./uploads. So if it doesn't exist, we want to create it. Okay, so what is going on here? So what's going on here is that, first of all, remember that file system, this comes from Node's built-in file system module, and it lets us read, write, delete, and manage files and folders. Here we have a file system, and we have this method called exists synchronously. So synchronously means that Node.js will wait for this operation to finish, and only then it will go on to continue to the next operations. First of all, this should happen, okay? So exists sync method returns true if it exists and false if it doesn't. And here we say ./uploads. It means look for a folder named uploads in the same place where server.js is. It means look for it in the root where server.js is, okay? And since we don't have uploads folder, it will be created. So as you can see here, we have make directory synchronous and uploads. So this will create the folder which is called uploads, okay? That's it. That's the idea. Okay, and for now we will not start our application, we will do it a bit later, okay? And now we need to configure Multer for file uploads. So for that we can create a variable called storage, and here we want to use multer.diskStorage, and it returns a storage engine implementation configured to store files on the local file system. And then when we have storage, we're gonna work with two functions, which will be destination and file name. Okay, so the names are self-explanatory, but anyway, let's quickly go over and try to find out what's going on. So first of all, let's deal with these parentheses and curly braces. Okay, right now we have only destination, and it means save all uploaded files inside uploads folder. Okay, and here as we can see, we have destination, and actually we can use arrow syntax. We can remove this function, and also we can remove these curly braces. So let's remove it, and here we can use arrow function, and now it will look cleaner. So here we define upload destination, and we have request object, file object, and callback function. So first of all, when it comes to this callback function, how does it work? So the first argument in general is an error if something went wrong, and if everything is fine, we pass null, meaning no error. And the second argument is the path where the file should be stored. So by writing this, we say no error occurred and save the file inside the uploads folder. Okay, so this is when it comes to destination, and as you can see, request object and file are not used, but anyway, they are provided automatically by Multer, and maybe we want to use it a bit later to be able to customize something, so it is fine to have them here, and even if we don't use them. Okay, so that's it when it comes to destination. And the next function, as I have said, will be file name. So we want to define how uploaded files should be named. So let's say that we want to have, here we want to have a comma, and let's say file name. Okay, and here as you can see, we have a variable called unique suffix will be equal to date.now function, plus we add this hyphen, and we use this function, so it will be random, and we use this number to multiply it. So it means that it will be absolutely random, and we need it so that it will be unique part of a file name. Okay, so now you may have a question why we do this. So we need it so that when multiple users upload files, or even if one user uploads quickly multiple times, using the original file name alone could cause conflicts, and adding unique suffix ensures every uploaded file has a unique name, so there will be no conflicts at all. Okay, that's it, guys. So here we make sure that it will be unique anyway. There is no way that it will not be unique. Then we need to get the extension of the file. For that, we can create a variable called const ext will be equal to path.xName method. And as you can see, you can read it. But shortly, we needed to get the extension of the file, and then we can have our callback function again. And here we have null again. As you remember, I said that it means there is no error. Then we have file.fieldName, and we provide this hyphen again. Then we provide our uniqueness, our unique suffix variable and extension. Okay, so now let's close this correctly so that we will not have any errors. Okay, guys, and here we also forgot to write a curly brace. Okay, and now we need to remove a parenthesis here, and the errors are gone. So sorry, guys, for this kind of inconveniences, and I think that now you get the idea. So again, as you can see here, for example, we use this file object and request object isn't used. Okay, and you may wonder what this file.fieldName is. So field name stands for the name, which will be image. Okay, so file.fieldName is literally the name you gave the file input in the form. Okay, and by using this callback function, we create final file name. Okay, I think that up to this point, everything is clear to you. If you have some questions, feel free to write them in the comments. And in the end, before starting our application and testing it, I will quickly go over the main points one more time. Okay, so now we have our storage variable and we have configured Multer for file uploads. Now we need to initialize Multer with the above configuration. So for that, let's create a variable called upload will be equal to Multer, and storage will be equal to this storage. So what does it mean? So it basically means that we have created a Multer handler that knows where to save uploaded files and how to name them. Okay, so we can use it in our routes to handle file uploads easily. So when it comes to routes, let's create some routes. It's time to create some routes. So first of all, let's create a route to be able to upload one image. Okay, so let's say app.post and the path will be upload. And let's say that, as you can see here, we have upload. So we refer to our initialization. So we refer to our Multer handler, which is upload. Then we say .single. It means that it is a middleware that processes a single file associated with the given form field. So it means that we're going to work only with one file. And when it comes to the name, let's say that it will be image. And then we're going to have request and response objects. And if there is no file, we can say that no file uploaded. But if there is some file, let's say that we want to return response JSON, and here we can say that we want to have message, let's say file uploaded successfully. Okay, and then we can say that we're gonna have, and for now let's remove this, and let's say that we're gonna have a file which will be equal to request.file. Okay, and let's remove this backtick. Okay, so now we have message, then file itself, and looks like we have some extra things that we need to remove. Okay, now it looks much better. So here we have message, then file, and also we can provide the URL. So let's say URL, and here we can provide the full path, and here let's use backticks, and here let's say HTTP localhost, but our host will be 5000. So here we provide message, file, then URL, and here we need to say HTTP. So localhost 5000 uploads. So that's why, as you can see here, we can get access to it. It will be accessible. Why will it be accessible? It will be accessible because here we made sure we did it. Okay, we made it to be accessible. Here we have directory name and uploads. And as you can see, here we have request.file name. It will be public URL of the uploaded file. Okay. So that is great, guys. And now let's say that we want to create a route to be able to upload multiple images. So let's say app.post, and it will be, the route will be uploads, and we can restrict it. We can restrict it, and we can say that maximum it will be for 5 images. So let's say upload.array method. Then the field name will be called images. and it will be for 5 images. So up to 5 images can be uploaded using this route. Then we can get access to our request and response objects. And again, if there are no request files or request files length is equal to 0, we can return this response with this status, okay? And then we can map each uploaded file to include its URL. So let's say const files will be equal to request.files, and we want to map it, okay? So here we include file name, and it will be equal to file.filename, and we also provide the URL, okay, public URL. And then in the response, we can provide the message, which will be files uploaded successfully. And in the files property, we can provide files, or we can provide them directly, like files, okay? So that's it, guys. So now let's say that we want to start our application on port, which will be 5000, and in the console we can say server is running on HTTP localhost 5000. So let's save this file, and now let's quickly go over the main points one more time. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. First of all, we initialize our app, and then here we need to create this variable, which is file name, and then we get the current file path, okay? And then using that current file path, we get the current directory name, okay? Then we say that we want to serve the uploads folder, so uploaded files can be accessed publicly. So here we say that if someone goes to this route, which will be uploads, we want to serve files so that they will be accessed publicly, okay? So it means that we will be able to open that image like a URL, and we will be able to see it, because as you can see here, we have directory name and it is image uploader in this case. And then we say just join directory name with uploads, okay? They will be together as one. And then we say that we want to serve the uploads folder so uploaded files can be accessed publicly. Here we say express static, and as you can see, it serves static files and is based on serve statics. So when someone goes to this route, we'll be able to get access publicly to these uploads, to the content of these uploads. Then here we ensure that folder exists before saving files. So here we check if it exists. If it doesn't exist, we just create it. Then here we configure Multer for file uploads. Then here we define destination and we define file name, okay? Then here we initialize Multer with the above configuration, okay? And we just create our routes, which will be upload and uploads. Okay, and now maybe some of you noticed that we have the same dash uploads appears twice, here and here, okay? So one is a post route to upload files to the server, and the other is a static route that makes uploaded files publicly accessible via URL. So post handles sending files and the static route handles viewing files. Two different purposes and same path. So now let's open our terminal and let's clear it first. So now let's start our application by saying node server.js, and you should see that here we will see a new folder called uploads. It will be created right here, okay? So let's press enter. And as you can see, we have server is running on HTTP localhost 5000, and at the same time we have uploads folder. And if I open it, it is completely empty. So now what I suggest to do is to go to Postman and test our routes. Okay, so here let's click plus to create a new request. Then let's say that it will be post. Then we need to provide the path, and it will be for a single image. Now let's go to body, and here we need to choose form data. Then we need to provide key, it will be image. Then we need to say that we want to have file, not text. So we need to say that it will be file, okay? Here will be image, and it will be file. And now we need to choose files. So now I will choose one image from my local machine. So as you can see, here I provided an image, and it is an image from Unsplash. And now I will click send. Let's see what we'll have. As you can see, file uploaded successfully. And here inside this file object, we can get additional info. We can say that field name is image, original name is this name, then encoding MIME type, destination, and so on. So the final file name is this, then the path is also provided and the size is provided. And the most interesting thing here is that, as you can see here, we can open it. So now I will press Ctrl and click it. So let's open it. So as you can see, this image is publicly accessible. So here, as you can see, we have localhost 5000, then uploads, and then the file name. Okay, why is it like that? It is because here we said that when we go to http localhost 5000/uploads, we want to serve static files from our uploads folder. And now, as you can see, our uploads folder contains this image. Okay, so that's the main thing. So since directory name is image uploader, we say that we want to serve images from uploads folder. So here we have directory, which is image uploader, then our folder, which is uploads, and here we have our images, okay, that are publicly accessible. But if we go to the URL, as you can see here, we have localhost 5000-uploads, and then we immediately see the image that we requested. Okay, we don't see the directory name or something else. We see what we need to see. We have localhost 5000-uploads, and then we have the image that we need. Okay, so now let's test the other route, which is for multiple images. So let's create a new request and let's choose uploads, go to body, form data, key will be images, and here we want to have file. So now let's select several images. Okay, so as you can see here, I have chosen 4 images, and now I'm gonna click send. And as you can see, files uploaded successfully. And here we have files array. Inside this array, we have objects. Each object contains its own file name and URL. And for example, let's try to open this one. Okay, and it means that our routes are working perfectly inside Postman. And now what I suggest to do next is to create an index.html file and try to do the same thing from that index.html. Okay, so let's do it. And also, as you can see here, we have our images. So here it is, and this one, and this one. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's say that we want to create a folder called public, then a file inside, which will be index.html. And now what we need to do next is that we want to make all files inside the public folder accessible through the browser. So we can serve HTML, CSS, JavaScript without creating separate routes. Okay, so for that, under this middleware, let's say that we want to say app.use express.static, and here we say that we want to make all files in the public folder accessible through the browser. Okay, and it is like exactly the same like here. Okay, so let's save this file, and now inside index.html, I will just quickly paste this code and save the file. So we can quickly go over this code and you can just take a look at it. It is very easy, nothing complicated. So here we have form, this ID, input and button. Then we want to show the result, and inside pre-tag, we want to show pre-formatted text, which will be for response. Okay, then we give some styles. Then here we have that we want to get form using its ID, then output using its ID, and then we add event listener to our form with the event which will be submit. We prevent the default behavior and some other basic stuff that we take the file input by its ID, we create form data, append image, and then we make a response to this route because it is for a single image, and we provide the method, and inside body we provide form data. Then we get access to our data from the response, and we say that to our output, we say that it will be equal to JSON stringify. Okay, and we say that if there is data.url, we can say that preview.src will be to data.url, and we can add some styles and so on. So it is just for demonstration, and the code is accessible in my GitHub repository. The link will be in the description, so you can go and take this code if you want. Okay, so now let's go to http localhost 5000 and test it. Okay, so now let's choose a file. Okay, I chose it. Let's click upload, and as you can see here we have this beautiful response, and Again, we have file uploaded successfully, then the image itself and the URL. So let's take this URL and try to open it. And let's open it. And here it is. Even if I refresh the page, it is still right here. And that is really great, guys. And that's it. We now have a working image upload system with Express and Multer. Even though this setup is running locally, it's a great foundation for understanding how file uploads work on the backend, handling static files, and showing them in the browser. Once you are comfortable with this, you can extend it to real-world projects like uploading images to a cloud service or creating a full web app with user profiles. So the core logic stays the same. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it yet. Thank you, I really appreciate it.